Welcome back to OT Sports. Today we got our Week 14 NFL game predictions. Should be a very fun video. Before we get started, just want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We do college basketball every Monday, college football every Tuesday, NFL every Wednesday, and NBA every Thursday. So this is the prime time for content this time of year. We got 4 videos a week, so make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications to make sure you don't miss out on any of our videos. But yeah, with that being said, I think we can just get right into the video. Taking a look at the standings, I'm still in first. I got a 4-game lead. Matthew's still in second. He was 4 games behind me last week, and he's 4 games behind me this week as well. Um, we do have 4 different picks this week. So if you were to get all those differences right, um, we would be tied heading into next week. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but it is very possible. This week is a pretty tough week to pick, in my opinion. Matthew, Connor went 9. I'm trying to remember what we went. We think we all went 9-4. Ben went 8-5. Jackson went 7-6. Sammy went 6-7, and Jack went 5-8. So that was kind of the look last week, just off last week. But yeah, let's hop right into the Thursday night matchup. It's kind of an ugly one. Patriots heading to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. This one, the Steelers are favored by 6. They are going to be without Kenny Pickett, though, so it is going to be Mitch Trubisky. I don't know, maybe the tape's not out or something. I'm not really a huge Trubisky guy. I am a Bears fan, so, but I still do trust him enough to get the win. I think they should be able to win this one. It's the Patriots. The Patriots are just looking atrocious. I think they have the second overall pick now. They're 2-10. I mean, they've their defense, I guess, has looked good, so maybe that will help. But the Steelers' defense is also elite, so I don't think they'll be able to score. I think it could be very similar to that Chargers game last week. I think the Steelers might end up winning this one like 7-3 or something. This is going to be a really, really low scoring, really, really bad game, I think. But I think the Steelers are just the better team overall. I think they get it done. NFC South matchup here. Bucks heading to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. This is kind of one where I don't really know where to go. The Bucks are 5-7. The Falcons 6-6. My original thought was to go with the Bucks, but they do have a lot of injuries. It's kind of a 50-50 game. The Falcons are favored by 3. In these scenarios, the Falcons do have some injuries too. So when it's really even like this, I kind of tend to just go with the home team. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take the Falcons. I don't know. I really don't trust either of these teams. I mean, the Falcons are only a 1.5-point favorite. I think I said 3-point. I meant to say 1.5. I don't know why I said 3, but I mean, it's essentially a pick'em game. So nobody really knows who's going to win this one. Yeah, and I don't really know either, to be honest. They're both pretty even, middle of the road, slightly below average teams, kind of what the NFC South is usually made up of. But I am going to go with the Falcons. The offenses are pretty much opposites. Actually, I don't want to say that, but the Bucks throw the ball a lot more than the Falcons do, but I don't know. I don't really like either of these teams too much. I'm going to go with the home team in the Falcons. NFC North matchup. We got this game 2 weeks ago. The Bears weren't in control of it for the whole thing, and they came up a bit short. This one is going to be in Soldier Field, though. The Bears played them very well last time. Last time they played them, they were on the bye last week, so their last game was a win against the Vikings. And then the week before that, they obviously came up short to the Lions. The Lions kind of been squeaking by recently. Close win over the Saints, lost to the Packers, close win against the Bears, close win against the Chargers. I mean, the Lions have really been squeaking by some wins. I'm getting a little worried for them just because I don't know how much longer they can keep this up. The Bears played them really well last time. They're coming off a win. They've looked pretty good in their past two games. They had a bye last week to prepare for this one. It's also at home. They usually play the Lions pretty good. I'm actually going to take the Bears in this matchup. I don't know. I really like um, I really like how the Bears always play them. The Lions are only favored by 3.5. I think this will be a very fun game to watch. The ESPN predictors giving the Bears about a 40% chance to win, so I like those odds. I'm gonna go with my team, and I'm gonna take them. This one could come back to bite me though. This is an interesting game. We got the Colts traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals, Jake Browning just took them to a win over the Jaguars in overtime on the road. The Jaguars are did Trevor Lawrence did get hurt in that game, so but yeah, Jake Browning looked great, 350 yards, one touchdown, only five incompletions. He was very good. The whole offense really didn't skip a beat. It looked like with him. Maybe it's just because it was his first game, but I'm actually gonna trust him. I think he gets it done over the Colts. The Colts are on like a 5 game win streak. I think they're due for a loss. I just don't think they're a good enough team to be 8-5. In all honesty, um, they're only on a 4 game win streak, but still, I don't see the Colts being an 8-5 team. And yeah, no, I just they're just very, I just don't see them as an 8-5 team. I don't think they're good enough to. I mean, the Bengals are still a great team. They've been without Joe Burrow now. Um, Jake Browning looked really good. The Bengals are at home. I don't know. I just can't see the Colts winning 5 in a row. I just don't think they're good enough to pull that off. Now they might. I might come back next year, or not next year, next week, and be sitting here and saying the complete opposite. But I don't know. I just Minshew. He has been very good, but I still just can't get around to trust him. I'm gonna take the Bengals at home in this one. It's kind of a 50-50 game. The Colts are favored by one, but the Bengals have a 54% chance to win. So yeah, it's really just a pick 'em game at this point. Next game, Jags at Browns. We got a pair of for back-to-back games. It's been backup quarterbacks facing off. We got a whole lot of QB injuries this this season. Um, but yeah, the Jags traveling to not Cincinnati, to Cleveland to take on the Browns. I forgot who their backup was last week, who was in. Um, but I mean, the Browns, they didn't look. They looked pretty bad last week. They got blown out by the Rams. But I mean, I just neither of these teams look. I mean, Joe Flacco, 250 yards, two touchdowns, one interception. Um, but then for the Jags, I'm trying to remember who they put in at backup quarterback. Give me a second to find it. C.J. Beathard, 63 yards. So nine 9 for 10. Um, yeah, this one's really tough. I'm just gonna trust Joe Flacco a little more. They are at home. I think both these teams are great teams. I think the Jags probably are the better team overall, but the Browns have a very nice defense. And in all honesty, I trust Joe Flacco over this quarterback for the Jags. So I'm going to go with the Browns. That might be crazy to say, but the Browns are favored by 3. I'm going to go with them. I think the Jags lose their second in a row um, to back-to-back AFC North teams. NFC now, NFC NFC South. I don't know why I said now. NFC South matchup: Panthers versus the Saints. This one's pretty easy for me. I'm gonna go with the Saints. The Panthers, um, looking very bad. Looking like the worst team in the league, obviously. And the Saints, kind of an average team. They're 5-7. I think they're due for a win. They're at home. This is one where I think they can get the win. They're favored by 5. I gotta go with the Saints here. I think Kamara's in for a pretty big day. Texans heading to New York to play the Jets. This is one where I thought about this for maybe a little longer than I should have. Um, I did come up. I did finally land on the Texans, but I did think about this one for a little just because, as great as CJ Stroud has looked, he's still a rookie, so there still is a little bit of worry there, and I feel like the Jets defense could give him some problems. The Texans O line isn't the best, and the Jets have a very good defense, one of the best D lines in the league. And yeah, I just think they might be able to pressure him and get to him. Tank Dell is out for the season, so that's a huge loss. But then I remembered Zach Wilson as a quarterback for the Jets. I don't really see the Jets offense doing much. So even if they do make the Texans offense struggle, I trust CJ Stroud a lot more um, than Zach Wilson. So give me the Texans in that one. Rams traveling to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Rams did come up with a huge win, a huge, very good game against the Browns. That was against Joe Flacco, though. This is Joe Flacco's normal, or what am I trying to say? This is Joe Flacco's former team. That's the word, in the playoffs, or not? What in? I don't know what's going on today. Just can't talk. This is Joe Flacco's former team. Um, it's a playoff caliber team. It's looking like they're gonna make the playoffs. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone in me saying that. They're probably a Super Bowl contender. Lamar Jackson is his successor, and I gotta go with him. I mean, they just beat Joe Flacco, the Rams, so there is that. You did look good, but you gotta remember it was against their fourth string quarterback. So, and then for the Ravens, they've been looking really good. Lamar Jackson has more weapons than ever this season with, Keaton Mitchell, Justice Hill, Mark Andrews has been great. OBJ's really coming into his own. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. Um, they got a lot of guys over there in the defense. Roquan Smith is one of the best defenders in the league. The defense has been probably the best in the league. So this team is very good. I don't see a world where the Rams win this. It's in Baltimore too. I mean, all signs are going with the Ravens, so I'm going to take them. Vikings traveling to Vegas to take on the Raiders. This one, Josh Dobbs versus, I believe it's Aiden O'Connell, if I'm not mistaken. So another game where backup quarterbacks are facing off. Yeah, there's been a lot of quarterback injuries this year. It's kind of unfortunate to see, but it's just the nature of the game. 6-6 Vikings versus 5-7 Raiders. I am gonna go with the Vikings. I just think they're the better overall team. The Raiders might have more weapons with Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Jacoby Myers. They got guys on defense that can make huge plays, but so do the Vikings. They got a lot of guys on defense who are kind of big play guys, and Justin Jefferson, I believe, is coming back. The Vikings have plenty of weapons on offense too, with Madison, Cam Akers, Justin Jefferson, I think, is back. Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne, T.J. Hawkinson. I mean, they both have a lot of weapons on offense. The quarterback play is just lacking, but I do trust Josh Dobbs. I trust his legs for him to create plays. He's been kind of inconsistent, but I do think if there's a game where he can show out, it would be this one. He is getting his best player back this week, so I gotta go with the Vikings. Next game, NFC West matchup. This is we saw this game 2 weeks ago on Thanksgiving night. The 49ers blew about. 49ers coming off a big win against the Eagles. That was a very hyped up game. They were trash talking. It was kind of the only thing on their minds, and they blew the Eagles out in Philadelphia too. I'm not gonna say I was surprised that the Niners won because I picked them, but I was surprised in the way that they won. They just dominated the whole game, and yeah, they looked really good in doing so. Now this is one where I think they could be in for a letdown game. The Seahawks are still a very good team. They might They blew the Seahawks out 2 weeks ago, so they might be overlooking this one, and they might be a little too high coming off the Eagles' win last week. That was a huge game for them. NFC Championship game rematch from last year, and Brock Purdy really showed out. I do think there's a chance that the Seahawks can get them, but I am still going to take the Niners. They're just too talented. I got to trust them. I mean, Brock Purdy is probably the favorite to win MVP right now. I think it should be Tyreek Hill, but it's probably going to be Brock Purdy just because he's a quarterback. But yeah, I mean they got so many guys. I can't go against them. The defense too. It's just I mean we just saw this game 2 weeks ago and the Niners dominated. I don't expect it to be as bad as it was, but I don't think maybe the Niners struggle a little, but I do think they will still end up winning. We got Bills at Chiefs, the two teams that were at the top of the AFC for about 3 years, 4 years in a row. This year, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna say. Well, I guess it's fair to say now, not so much. Um, when you look at the standings and the records right now, the Chiefs are the third seed, and the Bills aren't even in the playoffs. Chiefs sitting at 8-4, Bills at 6-6. I mean, the Bills have the same record as teams like the Broncos and the Bengals. They're a game behind teams like the Steelers, Browns, Colts, Texans. So, um, you know, this is a very crazy season. I think it's as wide open as ever. And I do think there's still a chance that the Bills can make the playoffs, but they're gonna need to win this one. Um, and I honestly just don't see it. I feel like the Chiefs have been their kryptonite over the past few years. It's in Arrowhead too. Maybe it's a revenge game. I mean, the Bills need the win, but the Chiefs also do because if the Broncos win and the Chiefs lose, the Broncos are only a game behind the Chiefs. So the Chiefs, in my opinion, really need to come away with a win in this one. Um, but so do the Bills. I think the Chiefs are the better team. The offense hasn't even been that good this year, which is crazy to say. Um, they, I think they've had like one of the worst second half offenses in the league. They're lucky that the defense has really stepped up this year. The defense is one of the better ones in the league, but the offense I think is like number 21 or something in the league. I mean that's not good, especially when you have Mahomes. You kind of expect to see a little more. Um, Travis Kelsey, it's looking like he's declining a little. He hasn't had a great year. Maybe the age is finally getting to him. I am still gonna go with the Chiefs though. I just feel like they've dominated the Bills in past years. Andy Reid's a great coach. I feel like they come out prepared in this one. I mean, both these teams need a win. I just trust the Chiefs more than the Bills, so I'm gonna go with them. They're also at home. Another more AFC West teams. Broncos heading to SoFi to take on the Chargers. This one is really tough for me to pick. I don't know. The Broncos were so hot, but they did just lose to the who did they lose to? They lost to the Texans last week. Um, yeah, this one is really tough for me to pick. The Chargers are actually favored by 3, and they're giving the Chargers a 70% chance to win this game. I am gonna go with the Chargers. I don't know why it's that high. Maybe they know something I don't. I am gonna take the Chargers. I think they finally won last week against the Patriots 6-0. It was very ugly. Um, but I do think the Patriots defense is better than this Broncos one is. And I don't know, the Chargers were on a losing streak and finally won. The Broncos were on a winning streak and finally lost. I just feel like there's something there. And I think the Chargers can win this one. They just have so much talent. I keep saying this. They need to fire their coach. And they don't do it. Um, yeah, I mean, both these teams, a win here would be huge for them. So they're both going to come out to play, which kind of worries me that because I really do like Sean Payton. I think he's a lot better of a coach than Staley, so that does worry me. But it is at home. The Chargers just have so much talent. I'm gonna go with them. I think on paper they're the better team, but I don't know if I would necessarily say they've been playing better. But the Broncos' hot streak finally did come to an end, so there is that. I'm gonna take the Chargers, but yeah, this one could definitely go either way. Sunday Night Football, Eagles head into Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Man, this is a great game, and I don't know who I'm going to I mean, this is another one, 50-50 game. Uh, I'm the Eagles coming off a humiliating loss. Uh, they lose by, what was it, 42-19, something like that. They got absolutely obliterated by the Niners. And the Cowboys coming off a huge win against the Seahawks, winning 41-35. The Cowboys' defense is legit. I know they just let up 35, but their defense is legit. The offense is legit, but you could say the same for the Eagles. But recently, the Cowboys have been impressing me a little more. It isn't at home; it's a prime time. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I honestly think they get the win, and the Eagles have kind of been squeaking by recently a little bit. They barely beat the Bills. They won in overtime. If it wasn't for some drops against the Chiefs, they would have lost that one. They barely beat the Cowboys the week before the Chiefs game, and then they barely beat the Commanders the week before that. They did handle the Dolphins, but they also barely beat the Jets. They won by 6. They beat the Rams by 9. They beat the Commanders by 3 in overtime. They beat the Patriots week 1 by 5, and they beat the Vikings by 6 in week 2. So when you really look at them, they have not been very dominant in many games. Their point differential is only 41. Them and the Lions, kind of similar, kind of been squeaking by. But when you look at the Cowboys have the highest point differential in the league at 168. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. They're hot right now. They're on a 4-game win streak. Yeah, I mean they just look really good. I'm gonna take them. The defense has given up, or has not given up, or how do I say this? The defense has given up less points than the Eagles' defense has, and the offense has scored more than the Eagles' offense has. So I don't know. The Cowboys have been really hot recently. I'm gonna go with them, as much as it hates me to say, because I really do like the Eagles, but it's in Dallas too. I gotta go with the Cowboys. We got 2 Monday night games this week. I don't know why. The Titans, Dolphins. This is one. It's got to be the Dolphins, right? I mean, they like to beat up on the bad teams. They're favored by 13. I gotta go with the Dolphins. I don't see any world where they win this. They're at home too. And then the last Monday night game, Packers traveling to MetLife to take on the Giants. This is another one that's really easy to me. Matt LaFleur is undefeated in December as a coach. I do expect that to continue. Jordan Love's been playing some great football the past 2 games, and the Giants, man, they just don't look very good with Tommy DeVito. They are coming off the bye, but I don't really think it matters. The Packers are hot right now. The Packers are favored by 6.5. They have a 75% chance to win. Give me Green Bay. As much as I hate to say this, Jordan Love's been really good, so I gotta go with the Packers. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the Week 14 game picks. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on the notification bell to make sure that you don't miss any of the content coming out. We got loads of it. College basketball every Monday, college football every Tuesday, NFL every Wednesday, and NBA every Thursday. So yeah, as always, my Discord and extra link in the description. You can join that. You can follow that. Whatever you'd like to do. But yeah, we will see you guys tomorrow with NBA Playoff Watch. Should be a fun video. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching.